Arabian Nights, like Arabian Day.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Will. The 1992 animated classic Aladdin was such a huge hit that naturally, sequels were gonna follow. And what followed was a cartoon series titled Aladdin, the Animated Series, which we will be discussing about in today's video.
Here we go! Arabian Nights.
How did the Aladdin cartoon, 1994 to 1995, end? One of Robin Williams' most iconic roles that made its way into the hearts of adults as well as kids is that of the Genie in the 1992 animated film Aladdin. An adaptation of the folktale from 1001 Nights, Aladdin was an instant success. It soon became the highest-grossing film of the year in 1992 and the highest-grossing animation film of all time till the 1994 flick The Lion King surpassed it. With 2 Academy Awards and multiple Grammy Awards for the theme song A Whole New World, Aladdin set a milestone for how Eastern stories can be brought to Western audiences. The critical and commercial success of Aladdin meant that more would follow, and a fascinating addition to the franchise was Aladdin, the series. Today, let's explore everything related to the show and find out every behind-the-scenes fact we can.
Hop a carpet and fly to another Arabian Night.
Everyone's heard the tale of Aladdin of Agrabah. He's young and kind-hearted, but he doesn't have a lot to call his own. One day, he and his pet monkey, Abu, rescue Princess Jasmine, who was in disguise as a commoner, from an altercation in the market. A connection forms instantly, and before the two could actually introduce each other, Jasmine is whisked away to her royal sheltered life again. The royal vizier and evil sorcerer Jafar tells her that he had Aladdin beheaded. Aladdin, who is very much alive, finds out who Jasmine really is. Jafar employs him to find a magic lamp in the Cave of Wonders, but when Aladdin gives it to him, he takes the lamp and pushes him back in. Abu, the clever monkey that he is, steals the lamp back. Aladdin unknowingly frees the genie inside the lamp by rubbing it. The genie helps Aladdin woo Princess Jasmine and derail Jafar's plan of usurping the throne by marrying the princess. In the end, Aladdin and the genie trick Jafar into wishing he were a genie, and he gets trapped in a new lamp with his pet parrot Iago. The sequel to the film, The Return of Jafar, was not very well received. It was a direct-to-video film that was released in 1994. In it, Iago escapes the lamp and refuses to free Jafar in retaliation for the way he mistreated and abused him. Meanwhile, Aladdin settles with Jasmine and the Sultan. He stops the schemes of the stupid criminal Abyss Mal and his men and returns the loot to the citizens of Agrabah. Abyss Mal attacks Aladdin as revenge, but Iago accidentally saves his life, causing Aladdin to let him live in the palace grounds. Abyss Mal finds the lamp and frees Jafar. The two join forces to take revenge against Aladdin. With his newfound powers, Jafar takes control of Agrabah, imprisons the Sultan, Jasmine, Abu, and Genie, frames Aladdin for the Sultan's murder, and sentences him to death. Iago frees the genie just in time to save Aladdin. In the brutal battle that follows, Iago destroys Jafar's lamp and kills him once and for all. The story was not all that strong, and Dan Castellaneta replaced Robin Williams as Genie. Because of all these reasons, the film was not well received. However, Disney had already put things in motion for a television series. Animator, screenwriter, artist, and producer Tad Stones was meeting with Gary Crisell, the then head of Walt Disney Television Animation, to pitch a show about space. Crisell reportedly cut Stones off before he could unfold his idea, and told him that they wanted to do a series based on Aladdin. When asked whose idea it was to turn Aladdin into a series by Joe Strike for Animation World Network in 2004, Stone says, "It was kind of a no-brainer. You had this movie that made $150 million. Some of the episodes I loved more than others, the ones that had more of an Arabian Nights feel." He further explained, "I have been thinking that while the genie is great, he's not a normal character. He's crazy because he was Robin Williams, who could bring in all this Warner Brothers craziness into a Disney show. Few people realize that even before he shows up, Aladdin is a great movie. I thought Iago was a great character. He was funny and mean, and Gilbert Gottfried's voice fit perfectly." Interestingly, The Return of Jafar was all Stone's idea, as he loved Iago and wanted to use him in the series. He had pressed for the studios to let him do a sequel, and though initially they were hesitant, they let Stones try it out after Aladdin broke the box office records. Though Return of Jafar did not win any awards, it was a good financial investment, as it made more than $100 million domestically against its budget of $3.5 million. Stones understands that the story wasn't all that good, as he said in the same interview, "I'm not particularly fond of Return of Jafar. I don't even own a copy of it." He further explained, "I just felt we were so rushed that the story wasn't as strong as it could have been." Funnily enough, the series premiered before the movie despite being set chronologically after. Disney Channel previewed several episodes before The Return of Jafar was released, even though the series took place after the movie. The regular syndicated and CBS broadcasts began later that year, after the sequel had reached home video. Many viewers were left confused as Iago was suddenly a good guy hanging out with the rest of the gang. The opening credits did nothing to help this curiosity and only increased it as it included clips from The Return of Jafar. Tad Stones more than made up for the disappointment of Return of Jafar in Aladdin the series. He co-produced the series with Alan Slaslov. The two had previously worked together on Darkwing Duck and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. As I said with Return of Jafar, nearly all the actors reprised the roles except Robin Williams and Douglas Seal, who played the Sultan. There is no official reason why Douglas Seal did not reprise his role. If you ask me to take a guess, I would say it probably had something to do with cutting costs. Seal's final performance as an actor was in 1995 in the comedy film Palookaville, and he passed away 4 years later. He might have also been reducing the projects he was taking on for a retirement, but these are just theories and whataboutism, so don't take them too seriously. The reason Robin Williams refused to do the sequel and the series though? It comes with a lot of drama. Williams had signed up for the movie to be a part of the great animation tradition and as gratitude for the success of his film Good Morning Vietnam, which was produced by Touchstone Pictures, a production label of Walt Disney Studios. He was very generous with his ask too. Instead of his regular fee of $8 million, William did the role for the SAG scale pay, which was $75,000, a small dent compared to the original. Instead, all Williams asked for was that his name and his image be left out of the marketing and the character he plays to take up less than 25% of the space in the posters and other advertising merchandise. Williams mentioned this in a 1993 interview with Gene Shalit on The Today Show. "The one thing I said was I will do the voice. I'm doing it basically because I want to be part of this animation tradition. I want something for my children. One deal is, I just don't want to sell anything. As in Burger King, as in toys, as in stuff." For some reason, Disney agreed to the conditions but failed to honor their agreement. They used his voice for the merchandising, and in some posters and artwork, Genie was bigger than Aladdin and Jafar. Williams obviously noted it, and in the same interview commented, "All of a sudden, they released an advertisement. One part was the movie. The second part was where they used the movie to sell stuff. Not only did they use my voice, they took a character I did and overdubbed it to sell stuff. That was the one thing I said, I don't do that. That was the one thing where they crossed the line." Williams made similar comments at that time at different interviews, and anonymous Disney officials repudiated the actor's comments. They likened Williams' behavior to sour grapes, implying that the actor was regretting his decision as he got paid too low for a film that was earning millions. Their initial comments obviously left a mark on Williams, but more importantly, he felt betrayed by the studio. Disney backtracked sometime after and, as an apology, sent a Pablo Picasso painting. The painting was a 1901 self-portrait of Picasso as Vincent van Gogh, and at the time was valued somewhere a bit over $1 million. Williams refused to accept it, claiming that it clashed with the decor of his house. Needless to say, Williams was not a part of the series. Despite that, the show received a lot of love from the audience. Genie and Iago's silly, sarcastic, loud demeanor was a hit among kids. The plot lines were witty and engaging. The animation isn't as strong as the movie as it feels rushed at places, but it is entertaining all the same. At the 22nd Daytime Emmy Awards, Aladdin won for film sound editing, film sound mixing, and music direction and composition. It was also nominated for Outstanding Animated Children's Program. The following year, it won another Emmy for Outstanding Sound Mixing, Special Class. The show was so popular that Disney broke its very strict 65-episode rule and allowed more episodes to be made. For those of you who are not aware, Disney had a pretty strict 65-episode rule for all its shows. A show cannot exceed 65 episodes under any condition. It has to wrap up any and all overarching stories as soon as it reaches number 65. The reason for this rule was because with 65 episodes, Disney could broadcast one episode on every weekday for 13 weeks. That is 1/4 of a year. Disney aired 4 new shows every quarter and maximized their exposure through reruns. 65 was also considered the magic number for entering syndication, so Disney could sell the shows to local television stations and maximize profit. Since Aladdin was so successful, they let the show run for 86 whole episodes, making it one of the very few Disney shows that broke the rule. Originally, 65 episodes were produced for the syndicated Disney afternoon run, while 13 additional episodes aired on CBS during the first production cycle. A final group of 8 CBS episodes brought the total to 86. Aladdin the series was planned out for 86 episodes, with a third film as the grand finale. The last episode, The Great Rift, that was broadcast in 1995, didn't have the emotional payoff of a series like this deserved. It was just another adventure where Aladdin encounters Deluca, a sorceress queen whose heart has been poisoned by the magic emerald of Khufu. Because of her greed, Deluca almost brings about the Great Rift that destroyed her kingdom Mesmaria into Agrabah, but Aladdin finds out about the crystal and destroys it. The curse is undone, the Great Rift is removed, and Aladdin welcomes her into his kingdom. The emotional payoff came in the form of the 1996 direct-to-video film Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Ahead of his wedding to Princess Jasmine, Aladdin discovers that his father, Cassim, is alive. He's the head of the 40 Thieves of Mount Sesame. Cassim desperately wanted to save his family from poverty, so he had left to search for the hand of King Midas, an artifact that turns anything it touches to gold. Aladdin tries to convince his father to abandon his dream and return with him to Agrabah, but Cassim doesn't listen. He sets out to find the artifact, and only when it turns one of his men into a statue of gold does Cassim realize the folly of his ways. He throws the hand of King Midas into the sea and realizes that his son is the real treasure. Aladdin marries Jasmine and Cassim watches from a distance as he is still a wanted man. The film ends with Jasmine and Aladdin kissing and Cassim riding off for more adventures with his new sidekick, Iago. Aladdin and the King of Thieves is often hailed as the best sequel of Aladdin, and one of the key reasons is that Robin Williams returned as the Genie. All the credit for that goes to Joe Roth, who replaced Jeffrey Katzenberg as the chairman of Walt Disney Studios and gave a public apology to Williams. Williams relented, and the rest, as they say, is history. There could not have been a better epilogue to Aladdin the series than Aladdin and the King of Thieves. An animated show is nothing without its voice cast. So where are all the wonderful actors who made Aladdin a success? Aladdin was played by Scott Wagner. Wagner first earned popularity by playing Steve Hale, the romantic interest of DJ in Full House. Wagner remembered the exhilaration of playing Aladdin in a 2019 interview with Josh Weiss for Forbes. All of a sudden, Disney became a huge part of my life. But it was a strange feeling because I grew up down in Florida and we used to drive up to Orlando to go to Disney World for the weekend my whole childhood. All of a sudden, to basically be living there and to be a part of it in that way, to be backstage, to be a cast member of Disney, was great. Wagner also voiced Aladdin in video games like Disney Dreamlight Valley, Disney Speedstorm, and the ever-popular Kingdom Hearts franchise. The voice of Jasmine belonged to Linda Larkin, who became really attached to the character early on. Speaking to Mike Gencarelli of Media Mics in 2010, she said, "I connected to the character the very first time I read the script, and I've stayed connected to her throughout. It feels like she's a part of me, and I'm a part of her. To me, it feels like it was meant to be. If I had to choose from all the Disney princesses who I'd want to be, Jasmine is the one I would choose. I think it was kismet, a connection that was meant to be. I think that's why I got the job, because I got her right away." Larkin has played Jasmine in the Kingdom Hearts and Disney Infinity video game series. Another iconic performance in the show was delivered by Gilbert Gottfried as Iago. Gottfried was quite proud of his work, as he told Y Entertainment's Christian Holub in 2018, "And when I look at my career, I look at that one and say I know for a fact that one is quality work." Gottfried unfortunately passed away in 2022, but you can catch his voice performances in The Patrick Star Show, Paradise PD, and Family Guy. Last, but certainly not least, Abu was voiced by Frank Welker, a legendary and prolific voice actor known for voicing memorable characters like Scooby-Doo, Garfield, and Megatron. The Aladdin franchise has the rare exception of starting great with a hit movie and ending satisfactorily with a cherished movie. Aladdin the series cruises the comfortable middle, facilitating the journey while holding on to the attention of the audience. What did you think about Aladdin the series? Just another way for the big studios to fill their pockets? Or a genuine effort in making something good? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our wonderful channel. We'll be back soon with more awesome stuff, but until then, goodbye.